We already know that William tried to warn Harry in regards to his relationship with Meghan Markle. William thought that they were going too fast and they should give themselves more time. And there are 3 moments in Harry and Meghan's engagement interview that are perfect examples of the red flags that could have triggered William's concerns since they started dating. And one of those moments is this one. Pay attention to Harry's hand.
The fact that I fell in love with Meghan so incredibly quickly was a sort of confirmation to me that everything, all the stars were aligned, everything was just perfect. It was this beautiful woman just sort of literally tripped and fell into my life. I fell into her life.
In this video, we're going to use body language, voice tone, and verbal analysis to spot the red flags of a relationship that is going too fast. And if you have a loved one in the same situation, I'm going to give you one tip at the end about how to address that. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. I told you to pay attention to Harry's hand because he uses 3 classic gestures that are a hand to the chest, a signature barrier, and a very strong emphasis. Watch the clip again with the gestures marked, but this time pay attention to his words.
The fact that I fell in love with Meghan so incredibly quickly was a sort of confirmation to me that everything, all the stars were aligned, everything was just perfect. It was this beautiful woman just sort of literally tripped and fell into my life. I fell into her life.
You can tell that it's a very emotional topic for him because first of all, he stutters 3 times in less than 15 seconds. The 3 gestures that you already spotted mean that he feels about this really deeply, and that's why he uses his right hand like he wants to grab his own heart. He does a signature barrier, meaning that there are no doubts about this, and he's really emphatic when mentioning Meghan. It's a very strong gesture for a man that is usually a bit insecure speaking. And that emphasis also reminds me of someone. I just can't remember who is it. Well, what should be more relevant is the kind of words he uses. I fell in love with Meghan so incredibly quickly. All stars were aligned, and this beautiful woman just fell into my life. I understand that you can be romantic when you talk, and it's a good thing being romantic when you talk, but it's another thing when you start to talk like a teenager that has just fulfilled the universe's destiny because you've met your chosen one whose name is written in stardust. Meghan Sparkle. That's a bit too much. Especially when he shows that micro-expression of sadness. This is the real deal. He is really moved by this, really invested emotionally. It's like bedazzled Brendan Fraser in real life. That infatuation in his words, his gestures, his voice, that would have raised questions in his family, especially William, who would have sit down with him to ask if he was thinking straight. After all, Harry was telling everyone that he fell in love so incredibly quickly. But there was a second red flag that we also got to see in the Oprah interview.
Given that I didn't know a lot about him, everything that I've learned about him, I learned through him, as opposed to having grown up around different news stories or tabloids or whatever else. Anything I learned about him and his family was what he would share with me, and vice versa.
The fact that she claims that she didn't know much about the royal family was a bit too much of a stretch. William could not buy that story. There's no way she didn't know, and claiming otherwise was suspicious. And I think that was one of the ways she captivated Harry. She acted like she had no idea of who he was, and this should have been a new experience for him. You can imagine how many people he had met since he was born that didn't know who he was, like less than a handful. If she pulled that off the right way, that would have made her look special from the get-go. It's like that first encounter between Julia Roberts and Hugh Grant in Notting Hill. He treats her like any other human being, and that's what makes him look special. There's one last clip from the interview that was a cause of concern. You're going to watch it and try to spot what is missing here.
Have you met each other's families, I imagine?
Yes, his family's been so welcoming, and
You've met quite a few of them, actually.
I have, on both sides of his family, his mom's side as well, which has been really important to me too. But yes, the family has been great and over the past year and a half.
Okay, she answers and she mentions the royal family. That's half of her answer. You can imagine that she's going to talk about her family next, right?
We've just had a really nice time getting to know them and progressively helping me feel a part of not just the institution, but also part of the family, which has been really, really special.
Okay, then she didn't mention her family at all. I guess it's Harry's turn, and maybe he will say something about meeting her family, right?
Trying to track them down and make sure that they're around at the same time that she's popping in without telling too many people. And so we've actually done incredibly well to make sure that you've met all the key people.
Well, no luck. This is one of the reasons I tell you over and over again that body language is just one part of the behavior puzzle. None of them mention anything about her family, and this is an odd omission that is going to be relevant in a couple minutes. We have no means of knowing in which way William addressed the situation with Harry, that he was going too fast with his relationship. But we know that they had a close bond up to that point, so it's not a stretch that William could have told Harry in a straight way that he should take things slower. But this direct approach most probably triggered Harry in many ways. On one hand, doubting Meghan's true intentions, and on the other, Harry's own reasoning capabilities. We cannot turn back time for them, but there's another way to do this, and I think this is the first time I outlined that on a video. The tactic is very simple. Ask enough questions about the other person. In this case, William should have asked Harry about Meghan. Not private details, of course, but details such as her relationship with her family. As I mentioned earlier, it was really odd that upon direct questioning, her family was not mentioned at all. And I'm not saying that those topics should be discussed for all the world to know, because that's the tabloid's job. But that's the kind of topics that should be discussed with your brother or your son or your daughter if you feel that they are not thinking straight or there's missing information or anything suspicious about their future partner. And by the way, this works for business partners too. These conversations are not easy and are prone to arguments, but it also helps them reflect. It's not really about changing their mind because at the end of the day, it's their decision. But if you help your loved ones reflect before making that kind of commitment, it will be easier for them to tackle any hard times that might come in their future relationship with that person. Impulsive decisions make it hard for us to weather the storms that will naturally arise. You say, hey, I didn't think this enough and look what I got myself into. If we give ourselves time to reflect or suggest a loved one to take it slowly with their relationship or their business decisions, then when any storm comes, they will be able to tell their partner, we will overcome this because I reflected long and hard and I know we can make this work. That's another mindset. Think about it. Don't forget to download my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. And for quicker updates on body language and related topics, follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Take care, my body language buddies.